They just robbed the chicken spot for food.
Yeah, they robbing them for food? Yo, she got rolls. Yo, wait, I think they getting robbed for food here. Oh my God, look at them, look at them, look at them. Oh, shit. Nah, that's the fattest I've ever seen them.
In all due respect to those masked criminals, they do look hungry. Hey, those big ladies got to eat a lot of food, so it's only fair that there's some equity at your local Popeyes. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Rudowski here of WeAreChange.org. And man, oh man, is there some crazy things unfolding in this world today that, of course, we're going to be discussing on this particular broadcast. Seems like almost everyone is losing their minds, being arrested for their crimes, and then just being released back to commit more crimes. This, as the national security state in America has other priorities, as the corporate media keeps trying to dunk on Elon Musk. All of this as we face nuclear annihilation, as the president of Ukraine is literally being CGI'd and made into a hologram. Yes, lots of crazy things to discuss that we're going to be talking about here. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast is a viral clip. I don't know exactly who made this. It could be a comedy skit. It could be totally made up. We do not know. Whoever created this, let us know if you know who they are so we could credit them down in the description below for their either brave filming work or incredible thought-provoking work of satire, which is absolutely genius, as of course, if this video is faked, if it is staged, it's very hard to decipher it from all the other videos right now going around big tech social media that are being shared widely, showing specifically the lawlessness, the criminality, and the violence that has overtaken many metropolitan areas all throughout the United States. This as in New York City, a jurisdiction which many people are fleeing because of the rising crime, has seen people try to avoid the New York City subway system as much as they can because of the everyday violence that people have to go through when commuting in that city. This as the amount of people riding the New York City subway system is at an all-time low, as crime on the New York City subway system has risen the highest levels in 25 years. This according to the latest NYPD data, showing that New York City is returning back to the 90s, a day and age that I lived through, particularly in Brooklyn, which wasn't easy. It wasn't nice. It wasn't trendy. There wasn't a lot of hipsters around. And New York City in the 90s was definitely, let's be honest here, not a fun place to be in. But now crime is returning to the levels that it was in the 90s. This as the woke district attorneys that have been put in there by unaccountable billionaires, particularly this man right here, who of course are implementing woke policies while setting up political witch hunts against their opponents for daring to have different ideas than they do. This man right here has single-handedly financed many prosecutors and district attorneys all throughout the United States that have created policies that spurred on more criminals. Why did they do this? Because they implemented policies where they literally arrest criminals and release them, don't punish them, and have literally implemented a policy where they catch and release very violent individuals or just take them out of jail. And then bada bing, bada boom, why are people surprised that there's so much crime, particularly in all the places that this man influenced? And of course, it's not just the raw data highlighting this rise in criminality. It's also, of course, video after video of brazen criminals robbing, stealing, beating innocent human beings who are just trying to make ends meet. There's even green goblin gangs attacking random innocent women on the New York City subway station. Women that, by the way, have been identified. Some of them have been arrested, and some of them have even been released. In New York City, there was, of course, another incident where a man took out an axe, destroyed a McDonald's, and then pointed the axe on an innocent woman who was literally released out of jail without bail after committing this viral act, who now was once again arrested for stealing a bike and evading police, and again released without bail. Now again, the bail issue is a separate issue that I don't even want to get into because it's a very complicated one, but very nuanced perspective and points to make here specifically on that topic. But what do you think is going to happen when you literally catch criminals committing horrible acts and just literally release them right after doing so? What kind of message does that send to the general public when the prosecutors in that city are hyper-focused about getting Donald Trump while innocent human beings are being terrorized every single day. This is an issue that, of course, is not going away, can't go away. The videos of this are going viral for a very specific reason, because it's becoming more in your face than ever. And this is why a lot of political commentators are saying that criminal reform is on the ballot, especially in this upcoming midterm election, specifically with Forbes detailing a major battle happening right now in Colorado as the state Democrats there enacted criminal reform, which has led to, of course, record crime rates. This is not a coincidence. This is not an accident. To the point where even Forbes is detailing how the Democrats in Denver could flip to Republican because of the utter chaos that was created by the current Democratic Party establishment in their office that, of course, is executing the orders of their billionaire funders. And again, a lot of Republicans are using this larger calamity in our society to push for their future political success with a strong message of law and order, which again, is just mind-boggling, especially in the day and age where the law and order has been weaponized against them predominantly, with the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigations being extremely hyper-political and not only punishing, not only going after, but also setting up individuals with crimes that they would have never committed just because of their political ideology. And we have seen pro-life activists, religious preachers, major conservative figureheads, and politicians directly targeted because of the ideas that they believed in by a Department of Justice that looks like they are going after a witch hunt for what they believe to be political wrongthink, as of course major cities are overtaken by gangs, theft, murder, and violence. The FBI is, of course, focused predominantly on thought criminals, this as the Republicans in charge are calling for more, quote, law and order. Do you see the dichotomy here and how ridiculous it is? And I think it definitely deserves to be called out, especially in hindsight to the latest information coming out today, highlighting how the FBI offered Christopher Steele $1 million in cash to prove that his dirty dossier, which again was totally made up against Donald Trump, which we knew of from the very beginning, since of course there was no evidence of it. There's no photos, there was no videos, there was just hearsay. We called it out from the very beginning. We were attacked for calling it out, for wanting to see evidence. But today we're finding out that the FBI offered Christopher Steele $1 million cash to prove that his dirty dossier of Donald Trump getting peed on in a Russian hotel was real. This is how desperate the FBI was towards getting Trump, that they offered people bribes of $1 million to try to prove their wrongdoing. And of course, Christopher Steele couldn't come up with any of the evidence, couldn't come up with any of the actual photos and videos of exactly what he was saying happened here, because it didn't. The dossier was made up to discredit and attack Donald Trump, and even with that information, the FBI still treated it as if it was real. This is from the same organization that knew about the Hunter Biden laptop story and then went around big tech social media telling them to censor the story because, quote, it was fake, when in reality they knew it wasn't from the very beginning. Again, intelligence agencies, the corporate media were telling you there was Trump collusion with Russia, and the FBI couldn't find any, so they offered up a $1 million prize for an assertion which was wrong from the very beginning. But with Trump no longer in political office, who's the corporate media's next target? Of course, Elon Musk, because he's daring to speak out against a lot of the insanity that innocent people are facing in our world. This, as Vice News has just released some fake news about Elon Musk, which again hasn't been verified. There is no actual evidence. There's anonymous sources here. There's nothing to this story. Elon Musk contests this story, says it's absolutely fake news, but elements of the corporate media are still running with it for some reason. Elon Musk tweeted this meme of him, quote, trying to escape the mainstream media, showing himself in OJ's white Bronco car, fleeing police officers who represent the corporate media that use anonymous sources, straw man arguments, staged events, half-truths, total fabrications, unbalanced coverage, division, bias, and propaganda, which he's absolutely right for calling for. Will Vice News be held accountable for spreading absolute fake news that is not based on any actual merit or evidence? Well, no. They get promoted. They get contracts with Bank of America. They work with the U.S. State Department. So obviously, they're in a special group of media organizations that does their job attacking and punishing people based on lies that the establishment wants to punish. So obviously, YouTube is going to promote them in the algorithm, show you them more than anyone else, while of course demoting, unsubscribing people from our channel and downranking us in the algorithm. This is why, one reason out of many, I started LukeUncensored.com. If you guys haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? You could sign up right now through Stripe. You will now also be able to soon sign up on Parallel Economy. We are setting up alternatives to, of course, PayPal that wants to censor political speech. And we have always stood behind the major principles of free speech, of liberty, of personal responsibility, and therefore that is why we created our own platform that, by the way, there is a lot going on. It's not only just exclusive videos almost every single day. Today's video is going to be a big, important one, especially when it comes to the larger propaganda efforts that are going on right now that are meant to hurt human beings. We're going to be telling you how to avoid these larger attacks against humanity. But it's not just exclusive videos almost every single day. It's also a forum. It's also 3 masterclasses. You also get exclusive merchandise at cost, which will save you a lot of money, all exclusively on LukeUncensored.com. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Time more than ever to sign up and, of course, to find out what we got going on. Find other like-minded individuals. Join our community right now, 50 cents a day, just by signing up very simply and easily to LukeUncensored.com. See you there right after this video. Now, when it comes to our foreign policy, I think it's very fair to say that ish is messed up, and it's only going to be messed up even more. This says, of course, there have also been tainted relationships between the United States and Saudi Arabia, which puts in question the larger U.S. petrodollar, which I think is a very important story that people should be paying attention to, as, of course, the President of the United States just told Saudi Arabia that there will be consequences because they didn't pump out enough oil that, of course, Biden wanted them to pump out and then ship over to the United States, as, of course, Biden wants them to do this instead of course, having domestic energy exploration and production. Producing energy here in the United States, Biden, no, we need to not do that for green energy policies. Importing it and making Saudi Arabia do it, and of course shipping it over here, which creates more greenhouse gases. That's great. And that's the green policies that, of course, this administration has put forward. Saudi Arabia saying, you know, now that you're dependent on us, we're just going to produce less oil, which, of course, is going to make the price go up, which is going to make us richer, which is obviously what anyone would do in this kind of situation, particularly a despotic empire that, of course, right now is creating one of the worst humanitarian crises on the face of this earth in Yemen, which the United States is still participating in and financing while giving Saudi Arabia weapons to bomb Yemenis hospitals with. Now, that statement might be just overly simplified, but in all reality, the United States has always stood behind Saudi Arabia, and now Joe Biden promising consequences against Saudi Arabia will, of course, bring them closer to Russia. Russia, which is involved in a full, all-out proxy war between the West, the United States, and, of course, NATO. NATO is also going to be planning to use their military might for their latest exercises, which will particularly be testing their strategic nuclear weapons program on Russia's border. This, as 14 of the 30 NATO member states will be doing a major drill, particularly to test out their nuclear readiness, which will be held next week. This is going to be a major, huge drill. This is a drill that they usually do annually. It is called the Steadfast Noon Drill, and you could, of course, expect tensions to be risen during these drills, as, of course, everyone will be on high alert during it. This, as today we're also learning that Russia allegedly also launched a counteroffensive, which wasn't really successful, and allegedly, according to Newsweek, was successfully pushed back by the Ukrainians. This, as even the current president of the United States is saying that the world is on the brink of Armageddon, and just announced that the United States has a, quote, contingency plan if Putin does use nuclear weapons inside of Ukraine. This, as we're also learning today, that according to some researchers from Molfair, an independent military research group, that are now claiming that it was actually a U.S.-supplied underwater drone that might have caused the major damage against the Crimea Bridge. The Crimea Bridge that, of course, was attacked, that the Ukrainians in some capacity are taking credit for, that right now the Russians are launching retaliatory strikes because of. All of this is happening as, for some reason, the president of Ukraine is being turned into a hologram. Yes. We're just going to play a little bit of this footage because it's actually bizarre seeing this.
Different types of hologram that we're going to be making. Quiet please everybody, we're going to go for take now. Here we go, and action.
Even now, that the war is raging, we continue the digital transformation of our state.
We need to use next generation technologies. We need to make it feel like he's more in the room.
Yeah, so that's happening. All of this as, of course, Tulsi Gabbard just also came out recently and said that the current president of the United States that she endorsed totally misjudged the current war with Ukraine, and that he is, quote, currently pushing us towards the brink of a nuclear holocaust. This, as Joe Biden has recently called Putin a, quote, rational actor. Yeah. Lots of mixed messages, lots of disinformation, lots of propaganda out there. You don't know who to believe. The truth is the first casualty of any war. You can't believe anyone, but I think it's fair to say that there's been enough of war already and not enough of peace. If you agree with that message, share this video with your friends and family members. It is more imperative than ever that you guys take part in your own existence and start conversations with your friends, family, and loved ones. Your opinions, your thoughts absolutely do matter and have a larger effect to the consciousness and reality that we are all experiencing here on the face of this world. If you disagreed with anything that I said or my own personal opinions and perspectives, let me know why down in the comment section below. I always appreciate the ability to have an open mind. I always appreciate the ability to hear perspectives that I wouldn't naturally hear myself. I'm here to get the best amount of information and to regurgitate it back to you. I hope I did a good job at that. And because you guys are here, this is why I still have a job doing this for you. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org. One more video coming your way right now on lukeuncensored.com.